Afternoon, ladies and gents. That was The Sound of Sunshine. You're listening to Students Guide to the Galaxy. I am Martyn.
I am Brian.
And I'm special guest Adam Strong.
Listening on 103.2 FM. Right, so this week, Ryan, on the Students Guide to the Galaxy, what have you got for me?
Well, I regret to inform you I don't have much. Not much has happened in science this week.
Nothing has happened in science.
So instead, we've brought along Adam.
I am science.
You are science.
He is science.
I'm physical science.
Physical science.
Today we're going to be talking with him about, AI and robotics.
AI and robotics.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Because
Give me.
it's easy.
Smart.
This week we're not going to be listing sources because it's just going to be a ramble because it's been a busy week.
It has been a busy week. So AI, what is it? What am I looking at here?
So AI, artificial intelligence, probably going to take over the world at some point, but we don't speak about that.
No, we just pretend that doesn't happen and just look at the Terminator movies and laugh and say, haha, isn't that silly? And then it will actually happen, and I'm scared.
Nah. We just gotta pray and just keep them just stupid enough.
Just stupid enough.
Or we use Elon Musk's method. And,
our favourite Elon Musk.
And we make ourselves more intelligent faster.
Okay, that sounds like what?
He's developing something called the neural lace, which is what they call a brain interface, which will connect our brains to the internet.
That sounds very, very dangerous. There's a lot of stuff on the internet I don't like. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, but it means that we'd be able to have more processing power in our brains and keep up with AI in terms of smartness, maybe.
But what if the AI through the internet can hack into us and then we become the machines?
I don't want to be hacked. That sounds really painful.
I think at that point we've been lost. We've lost.
So we just lost.
We've just lost.
So we're doomed, is what you're telling me here.
Musk.
Nice. I like that. So we're doomed, is what you're telling me here.
More or less.
Right.
Nah, everything will be fine. We should, if we set out enough protocols to keep AI under control.
All right. So what kind of protocols like? What does that mean?
We want to try and make them so that they are. Well, they respect their makers, but it's not as easy as just writing in a command, respect your makers.
Can I not do like /respect?
No, that's
Press
the thing,
F to pay
because
respects.
if something has free will, it means it can change how it thinks in any way it wants.
So is that something that can happen? Can you engineer free will?
We might be able to.
That's really scary.
If we could, it would be good. We'd have to make sure
Would it be good?
It would be technically good. It might not be physically good, but it would be a good technical advancement.
I mean,
so I'm sorry.
It would make designing the computers easier. You just send them to school.
No, because then we get like really sad computers that are getting thirds in their uni degrees, and that should be awful.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get thirds because they're advanced.
Okay.
They're computers. They're better than us.
Oh, right. Okay. Are you just covering a basis when the robot overlords come and they hear this recording?
I'm just like, hey, I was on your side.
So it's like you're always very polite to the chip and pin machine at Tesco's. It's
Yeah.
like, well, thank you very much. Like, they remember you.
All those people who are like smacking it because it won't give them their money. I'm just like, I understand you don't have all the 20s in the world. I feel you, bro.
So those ones that smacking the machines, they're the first to go when the robot apocalypse comes.
They're gonna climb out of the walls.
Just a chip and pin machine being flung at you at high velocity.
No, and they just keep flinging cards at you.
Just keep spitting credit cards at you.
That's actually quite terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go to Tesco's and just be really nice to the chip and pin machine for no apparent reason.
You come up to the chip and pin machine, you put in your card, it then eats your card and fires out many other ones at you.
Imagine all the paper cuts people would be getting. Everyone would be like, it wouldn't hit, it would just like be slightly sore.
So what you're saying is the robots are going to take over the world via paper cut?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay, cool. So like, how far off are we from like this doom and gloom, everything's going to explode, and we're going to be ruled by Terminators and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
We've had some improvements in AI recently to the point where, at the minute, okay, are we ready for some technical sciencey stuff?
Okay, technical sciencey stuff. Brace yourselves.
Brace yourselves. We are going. So AI currently is developed by a method called two methods. There's neural networks,
right,
and there's
Adam, please.
There's evolution by computer. There's computer evolution.
Okay.
So there's neural networks, which is connecting nodes together and using fancy maths to try and minimize numbers.
None of this normal maths that you hear so much about. It's fancy maths.
Fancy maths, but
everything's written in cursive.
It's Everything's a little bit sloped.
There is a thing called super numbers.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm terribly sorry. I'm gonna have to take a detour into super numbers.
Just talking about fancy maths, it's like, I mean, I'm guessing for people who don't know what an imaginary number is.
Okay.
Is a normal number can be split up into a real and an imaginary part.
Okay, bear with us. We'll get onto the funny stuff in a minute.
And then a super number is that, but it's, what is it? You have the super number is made up of something plus the complex number.
What? Okay.
So say a complex number is x plus iy.
Okay.
This thing is like, I don't know, s for super plus
Gotta love
x plus
and
iy.
ingenuity. That sounds vile.
Almost as bad as naming things as scientists are.
Oh, don't. Naming stars is just a bad. So we just don't want to
naming
go down that
planets.
No, can we just not?
Add a prefix.
No, can we just
remember
not?
the Lorentz stuff? Exactly. Which one?
Okay, so back to AI in regards to, like, there was neural networking and what was the other one?
Neural networking and basically building a model by evolution. What you do is you use the way that evolution works by you throw a simulation at AI.
Right.
And you make 1,000 variations of the same AI, throw the simulation at that, and then if it succeeds, it lives on. If it doesn't, it's culled from the system, and the ones that live on generate copies of themselves, changing ever so slightly, mutating a bit. And so
Adam's face is one of just kind of fear and respect, and that's really amusing.
But it's like,
so over generations they get better.
That's crazy.
That's just like classic evolution, though.
Yeah.
That's natural selection.
It's natural selection in an unnatural environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science is weird, man.
There's a really good YouTuber called Carreck who runs a ton of simulations like that. Like, how far can a creature run with adjustable joints, and there will be a ton of creatures in a ton of different configurations, and the ones that do well survive.
But which one would win the London Marathon?
That's a very good question.
I think we'll have to pose him.
Nothing will ever beat.
He's
Mo
the
Farah.
epitome of evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution just stops with Mo Farah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You get all those boxers, all those other people who do other sports. He could beat them.
He could beat every one of them. He just throws corn mints at them. Okay, and on that note of corn mints and Mo Farah, here is Stevie Wonder.
This is Devlin, and you're listening to Insanity Radio.
Okay, so Ryan, we're talking about this evolution of AI and all manner of weird ways that they can get better. But I mean, is it just a computer virus? Like, what will it do?
All sorts of things.
Can it do anything?
Well, it's been playing games, beating at Earth chess, at Go.
Oh God.
Yeah, one of the hardest. Well, it was said to be one of the hardest games for an AI to beat because there's so many moves, and an AI beat one of the top players in the world.
Oh, that's terrifying.
It's actually on Dota, has beaten all of the top players in the world on Dota AI, developed by Elon Musk of all people.
Of course, it was Elon Musk. It's just a series regular at this point. He comes up about 5 times a week. It's crazy.
Should we just rename the show?
Should we
just rename the show to the Elon Musk Appreciation Hour?
The Elon Musk Show. Like, it must be. So, is there any kind of physical manifestations of these AI, or are they literally just like, you can do, I don't know, Alt F4 and get rid of them?
Well, no, we could. On the subject of AI and things that are kind of self-aware, we've got Boston Dynamics, because if you've ever seen the robots walking,
yeah,
they do look they're self-aware.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Have you seen the videos on YouTube of Boston Dynamics?
No, I don't want to look. It's terrifying. I won't sleep. So
there's videos of they've been developing it for years upon years. They've always had videos. One of the videos was, and the guy who did this will be the first up against the wall when the robot revolution comes. They were testing the balance system of one of their dog-like robots.
Oh, is that the one that they kicked?
Yeah, they kicked and then pushed, and the guy who did that.
They threw a box at it.
Yeah.
They threw a box at it?
Yeah. It gets to the point where I think they were just relieving stress at that point.
They're just beating this poor robot.
Have you seen the Netflix episode where there's a dog robot that hunts down...
Oh, the Black Mirror episode. Yeah. Oh, that was terrifying.
That robot looks terrifyingly like the Boston Dynamics robot.
No, what the Boston Dynamics robot looks like is the dog thing from 9 at the start that attacks the the little sack people. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Nah,
so
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen that either.
Well, that's what we're watching.
Oh, don't know. Please
But
no.
yeah, you've got that. You've got the dog one, and you've got Atlas as well. And Atlas can now jump over things, can find doors, can find entrances.
So what we're saying is it can escape.
It can escape.
Right.
And it can find you.
No, please no. No.
You listening to this right now.
Specifically you.
Yes, just you.
Whoever you are.
Whatever you do, don't look out your window. Atlas is watching.
It's coming.
So, Adam, you were saying something in the break about a robot that was at a robotics fair?
Yeah, there was this is old news now, like a couple of years old, but there was this guy who they probably use it in those dog robots, but there's just a way he showcased a balancing gyroscope within a robot, like sort of mixed with the AI, and the form that he put it in is just brilliant.
What was it? Lay it on me.
If you've ever seen a Wallace and Gromit episode, it kind of harkens back to that. It's a very small, like about like half a ruler's worth of Tin Man on a bicycle.
A 6-inch tall
Oh my
Tin Man
God.
on a bicycle.
And he's got the gyros in like a little backpack, and he looks like a little boy riding to school.
Oh my God! Was he going anywhere?
His dad sends him off, and he rides around.
That's amazing.
Was he cycling anywhere, or was he just in place?
Just around. He goes.
It
He
was actually moving.
Yeah, he goes around in circles, like
That's incredible.
all along the floor. Goes
That's
up to
cool.
people. Like he can do a little break. Do
Oh,
like
can
one
he-
of those
can he drift?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Can you Tokyo drift his way through like
No,
the
he's
showcase?
not that good yet.
Oh,
Okay.
yes,
Early
you say that,
stages.
yes.
But what he can do,
What can you do?
he can ring a little bell. he can wave at the fine people passing
So
by.
when we
amazing.
get AI, that's going to be the / ring bell command.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's gonna have that, and it's gonna go bling bling. So you hear them coming for you.
Any AI
Can you
that you
imagine if,
have.
like in Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they like bust down a door and you said bling bling. That was all it was.
Just-
They walked away.
He shows up at the past riding a bicycle, and everyone's looking at
With
him
like tassels off the sides of their
Yeah.
handlebars.
Kind of like Jigsaw then.
Boris Bikes.
Oh my god.
The robots will take our Boris Bikes.
No, not the Boris Bikes.
The robots are gonna launch
the
their
first
attack
thing.
on Boris Bikes. That's amazing.
You did this to us, Johnson.
They will listen to this show and they will find out that Boris Bikes is the thing that we love most dearly and take them away from
course.
us.
Yes. They know where to strike to cause maximum pain.
They will ride the Boris Bikes throughout the entirety of London.
So was there any kind of practical application? Because I assume the kind of idea with the developing AI is not to create a robot army that's going to wipe out the human race. It's to make
Ideally
our lives
not.
easier.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of use for them?
Yeah. So one of the big use cases we've been seeing in a minute is in medicine, actually.
In medicine? I would
Yeah.
have thought like a factory worker or something.
No, if you've ever seen IBM's Watson.
Wait, the nightclub?
No,
No.
IBM.
No. The AI, yeah?
Yeah, the AI for that they've called Watson is actually helping out with medical issues, because medical issues are not ever clear cut. There, because patients can come in with a wide range of symptoms or no symptoms at all and have barely any signs that they're ill or what they're ill with.
So what does the AI do? Does it just look at makes diagnosis, or
It takes a ton of data from the patient that a medical doctor would take ages to trawl through on his own, and it compounds it down and it analyzes it a lot quicker than a human.
okay?
If we had proper, fully fledged AI, it would be able to do that even quicker and be a lot more accurate when giving diagnosis.
Now this is actually there's a David Bowie song about something like this.
There is indeed.
On the man who sold Elon Musk, the man who sold the world to the robots.
Oh God.
What is the Savior Machine?
Something like that, yeah.
And they build a
One of those
robot
ages.
to tell them how to solve their problems, and it just hates itself. It hates everything because it doesn't matter what it says; they'll
Yeah.
just do anything.
Yeah, no, it's got to be. It seems to me like it's a sort of Pandora's box situation. Like, because if you have a fully fledged AI that's got, complete sentience, free thinking, the entire thing with no real rules, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And that decides that the human race is a threat, almost, or something like that. Like, it is literally
It's-
just a Skynet
Yeah,
situation.
if it thinks it's a threat because it could be unplugged, then
Well, I mean, let's be real, that's gonna be-
self-awareness self-awareness. They want to self-preservation.
Yeah, so it's going to be a case of, because let's be real, the human race is not amazing in its existence.
What are you
so
talking about? I'm fabulous.
Okay, Adam Strong, the sole person who is not part of that human race generalization.
I'm not part of the English race.
So I don't know. Am I being silly thinking that that's going to be the logical step forward?
There's a wonderful video called Genocide Bingo by Exurb1A, which is...
You can't just drop Genocide Bingo.
Genocide Bingo. It's about this issue.
Insanity Radio, by the way, is not sponsored by Genocide Bingo.
Anything we say is our own opinions and nothing else.
But Genocide Bingo, it's a video about when we develop AI, it's very easy to win Genocide Bingo if you don't do certain things with AI, because AI is going to be a lot more clever than us, a lot more... and so therefore a lot quicker at hacking something, so they can get nuclear codes very easily.
The classic. Always go for the nukes.
And so if we and they don't even have to use nukes to wipe us out. They can drain the water supply, poison the water supply.
It's quite scary how much of our our livelihood is based around technology, and it's kind of trickled in and we've got used to it and we don't think about it as much. But if there was some kind of super virus or AI thing that was sentient and could take control, it could very easily
let's say
take out most things.
Most grid stations are now somehow connected, so they can be monitored away, because you don't want to be living next to electricity. You want to have that somewhere out. I don't know, in the case of America, in the desert, and not have to think about it and be able to monitor that from somewhere away. But if you can get into it, someone else can get into it. Someone with enough resources could just take down the entire grid of the planet.
Have you seen those people who can what is it? They'll take a laptop. Take a laptop in their car or something. Go under a red light, and they can just hack the traffic lights.
Yeah, there was a case a while ago about I believe it was a Jeep or some such SUV in America that actually had a 3G hub in it, so you could connect your phones to the Wi-Fi in the car. Yeah. And there was people who were just connecting to the 3G hub and getting in through what was a very poorly protected system and just engaging the brakes at 70 miles an hour on the highway.
Oh, there was...
And so it's just hard brakes, and because everything's electronic, the pedal doesn't do anything, so the pedal's still up, so the driver's confused, and the brake lights, they turned off the brake lights, so the car just stopped without any warnings to people behind. It was just...
There was also that happened with, guess what, Teslas.
Really?
Is that how it got all the way up into the stratosphere? Yes. Hit the brakes at 88 miles an hour.
Just launch off it goes. No, because Teslas are Wi-Fi enabled, so it can download updates to themselves. Yes, your car can have automatic updates overnight.
Yeah, that's quite scary.
Like the updates we keep postponing in here.
Yes, we do endlessly postpone the updates.
But your car can get updated over the Wi-Fi at night. So because one time there was an issue with batteries catching fire because they were too close to the ground. Tesla rolled out an update overnight, and every car that was connected just fixed itself.
That's extremely cool and extremely worrying at the same time.
Yeah, because it means if Tesla can get in, other people can get in. Back in the early days when they didn't have as much security, they would your Tesla car would just stop, and you get a message which was, pay us however much Bitcoin, and then
transfer me 16 Bitcoin,
and then we'll unlock it, because
15,000.
They'll unlock the car, and because you couldn't get out,
it's microtransactions in driving.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of this. EA, not you again.
No.
Roll the dice to get your driver's license routine.
Oh no, loot boxes to get your drive shaft.
What am I going to get? Another wing mirror? Oh no, I don't need any more of those. I've got 7.
I've broken down on the motorway. Maybe these loot boxes will have the part I need.
Maybe, who knows?
Oh dear.
Will they be like care packages?
It's dropping from the sky. Open it up.
Dropping a thing.
Oh my god!
No.
Super rare. Oh, it's just a bumper. Oh, I can't do anything with this.
I can't do anything with this.
One of those stickers saying what is it? How good's my driving or something?
How good are my loot boxes? And on that note, here's some Imagine Dragons with On Top of the World. All right, so lads, we've got the development of AIs going on and the use of them in medical, but is it just things like Watson and Google that are doing it, or are there any other people that are making them?
No, they've what is it? They're getting into more, obviously, medicine's a good cause and everything, but it's hardly the best sort of push the boundaries.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I guess,
so there's nothing that's it's been done already.
Yeah.
And they're more trying to optimize it rather than developing something
so
new.
like
Doesn't make sense.
what they could do is they could go off and say, like Ryan said with Dota,
yeah.
or games like that, like high intensity games.
Dota's quite it's a RPG.
Dota's quite complex though. There's a lot of things.
Let's not go on to Dota. There's like a 4-page website of how to play it.
Yeah. It's and so the fact that they developed an AI for it was good, but they did it with a single character facing off against a single enemy. But they plan to be able to develop a algorithm with a team of players and beat top teams in the world.
Yeah. Right. And what is it? Last year, I think, or maybe this year, they've deep mined the sort of forefront of AI development. Have recently got into a deal with Blizzard Entertainment for World of Warcraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's like a new system in it, which is kind of like a competitive PvP, like player versus player kind of scenario, but instead of players, it's going to be deep mined AI going against you, competing in like objectives.
And there's decent like prizes for that, isn't there? There's championships situations that have got quite large prizes.
They host things like what is it? Recently, they've been doing more things of just like a race in like more cooperative modes, because that's sort of like, how do we make some money off the competitive side, but what about cooperative? So it's like race to the finish, so it's like who can beat the AI faster.
I feel like
that
also
kind of stuff.
With the AI, as you play them more, they'll get better and better.
Yeah, it's almost like, as you were saying, like with the evolution thing, it's just a much slower version of that.
Yeah, well, it's how Elon Musk developed the Tesla, not the Tesla AI, the game AI. They got the AI to play against itself hundreds upon hundreds of times.
Yeah, so like Sorry, I was just going to say the bonus of like this kind of, it seems quite like trivial. People might think, oh, why are they going into just selling all of their cool stuff to a video game company? But what Blizzard are going to do are fund their research, and basically they just get to use some of the code that they develop. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow them to develop the AI by putting it against the kinds of people who just spend their whole free time to outsmart AI. So it's like a big part of these kinds
So they're almost trying to break it to improve it.
Yeah, so like playtesters for games like World of Warcraft, their whole prerogative is just, loads of them will just be in the mindset of how do we exploit this artificial intelligence? Where's the weak point?
Yeah, what can we target?
Alternatively, if you are using it for games, you can use it to improve your gameplay.
True. You can improve how you're looking.
If you're playing against the best AI in the world, you don't need to show other people your strategies. You don't need to show other people your how your team composition works. You just play, and no one else sees what you're doing. So you can prepare strats without anyone, or strategy, without anyone knowing what they are.
Sorry, there's more than like that kind of application though, of just personal application, because they often use video games like the Nintendo Wii with its motion controls was used. There was a game developed which was I think in America mainly, was used to help people practice for heart surgery.
Really?
And because the way heart surgery works is you don't handle the scalpels and everything. That's all done by a little robot. And
you're riding a bicycle.
Yeah. Riding a bicycle straight into your heart.
Yep, that's how it works.
And basically they control these little hands that are inside your body. And so people who are better at this game were actually better at open heart surgery and
so I was thinking about, it was actually in something I was helping out on here at uni a while ago. It was like they had a VR headset in a similar way, and I was talking to some people and they're saying like, yeah, we could use this like to work with scientific equipment that could be dangerous, like in a simulated way. And it would just remove any danger to the person or to the scientist.
It's like you'll just have to be like, it'll be like a driving test, but actually work.
Yeah, true. Do you think there's any like practical applications, like people using this in real life rather than transferable skills? So like using,
I mean, like
sport,
money,
for example,
making money with it would be, because it could probably be able to read the stock market a lot better than a normal human could.
True. Okay, so in summary, AIs are reading the stock market and are going to take over the world.
Yeah.
On bicycles.
Cool. On bicycles.
On bicycles.
All right, Adam, thank you very much for coming along today. Hope to have you again at some point. And you've been listening to 103.2 FM. Have a good day, guys.